I want to tell you guys a little story about something that's happened quite recently. I've mentioned it a little while back, but it's something I wanted to hold off on just for a little bit, so I kind of had a chance to properly process it before I talk about it, but I want to talk about it. A few weeks ago, I lost someone, a very close friend of mine from the track, someone who's been where I train specifically, someone who's been up there alongside us for years, has just very much been a part of our track life, I guess. His name was Jason, and he was a veteran athlete. Not just a veteran athlete, he was a European and world champion. You know, the guy at over 50 years old, he was one of the best in the world at what he did. He was a coach, he was an incredible coach. He was just an amazing guy. Like, honestly, I couldn't tell you about someone who was more fun to be around than Jason. If ever you were up the track and he was up there with you, you knew you were going to have a good laugh. You knew you were going to go home smiling. And unfortunately, a few weeks ago, he passed away. He was only, I believe, 52 years old. What basically happened was, and I'm sorry if I get any of this wrong, I believe last year he was diagnosed with multiple brain tumors, and as far as I'm aware, they managed to surgically remove one of them, but not the other. But he was doing well, he was getting treatment, he was recovering, and, you know, he was getting ready to come back to winter training, get ready to, you know, get into next season. And then, yeah, a few weeks ago, we suddenly just got a phone call from his son saying that he'd suddenly passed away. And I remember my dad phoned me and he told me what happened, and I was just speechless. He told me he passed away, and I think my reaction must have been something along the lines of, what, just like that? Just like that? He's gone? And he was like, yeah, just like that. And I just sat there and I just thought, fuck. And the thing that hit different is not just that I'd lost a close friend. What really hit different for me is that it was him. This was a guy who, at 52 years old, he was fitter and healthier than I will ever be. He is someone who has already bounced back from cancer once. He was diagnosed with lung cancer a few years ago, and he not only survived that, but he survived that and then went on to become a world champion. But this was just someone who really grabbed life by the bollocks. He really lived his life to the fullest. He really dedicated himself to helping other people. He helped me when he never needed to. I never paid him for his time. He just helped me out of the goodness of his heart, and because he saw me as an up-and-coming athlete and wanted to, you know, lend me his help. He helped so many other people. He inspired so many people. This was someone who really didn't take anything for granted. He was a family man as well. He's got a great family. This is just someone who took nothing for granted. He really lived every single day like it was his last, and he had so much more to live for, and it was all suddenly just ripped away from him. And that's what hit me so hard. Was I sat there, and I think in my whole life I've never felt so mortal, if that makes sense. For the first time ever, I really sat there and thought to myself, like, man, you really just don't know. You really wake up each day and you just don't know when it's going to be your last. You really don't know when it's going to be your last day on earth. And that hit so different. And this isn't even the first time that this has happened this year. You know, we had some bad news, unfortunately, back in January at the start of the year. Another close friend of ours from the track, a guy called Idris, he also passed away, unfortunately. And he was only 38. I attended his funeral via a Zoom call because it was still in the middle of lockdown. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and it really made me realize that you cannot take this life for granted. Every day that you get to wake up and continue living, you are so lucky. We are so lucky. And I know I seem like I'm a little bit different these days, and the way I'm running things is a little bit different. And it's because my whole attitude towards everything has just completely changed. Towards like every aspect of my life, I now have this just overwhelming urge to just not take life for granted, to really live my life to the fullest and just not waste a single day, because you never know when it's going to be your last. And it saddens me because there are so many people I see on a daily basis who just don't understand that. So many people who have lives that are worth living, who just do nothing with it, who just sit there and waste it. So there is a point to why I'm talking about this. There is a message that I want to kind of get across. I want everyone watching this video right now to promise me that you will live a life worth telling people about. Don't waste your life, because even if you're in a bad situation, even if, you know, you're hard up, you can bounce back. It won't necessarily be easy. It won't necessarily happen overnight, but you can bounce back. Every single day that you wake up and you get to continue living and breathing, you have something to live for. And I'm very much a believer. I believe that everyone was put here for a reason. I believe everyone was put on this earth with a purpose. And I believe the goal in everyone's life should be to find out what that purpose is. Not just the what, but the why. What were you put on this earth to do? Why were you put there to do it? I truly believe that my purpose for being on this earth is to entertain people. I've discovered that through doing this, and I will hopefully spend the rest of my life either doing this or doing something in this kind of capacity, because I now know that the reason I was put on this earth was to put smiles on people's faces, even if that meant making a complete tit of myself. Just to put smiles on people's faces and just to give people a bit of escapism from reality for a little bit. And I now know that I can't take that for granted. I can't take anything for granted, because there are so many people like Jay and like Idris who had so much to live for and they don't get to. So I just want all of you to know that you cannot pack it in. I'm not even telling you that you shouldn't pack it in, that you shouldn't give up. You can't. You are not allowed to. Every day that we get to wake up and continue living, we are incredibly lucky. We should not take that for granted. Everyone is here for a reason. Find your reason. Find your reason, live your life to the fullest, and no matter how bad it is, don't pack it in. You can do with your life whatever you want to, and what that is will be different for every single person watching this video. What I'm asking you, what I'm telling you, is whatever that is, whatever your purpose is, whatever your what is and your why, don't waste it. Grab your life by the bollocks. Please just don't let it go to waste. I just want to say love to Jay's family, love to Jay. You taught me so much and you inspired me in so many ways that I didn't even realize. This one's even a little off topic, but you know the word big man? You know that nickname that's become so solidified and etched in this channel? Did you know that that actually came from him? It came from him because that's what he always used to call me. Remember, anytime me and my dad went up the track, I was big man and my dad was Pops. Always, every single day. And the name just kind of, I don't know, it kind of stuck with me, I guess. It's even more different now. If you've watched this far into the video, thank you. I don't know how long it's going to end up being. I probably should have scripted this, really. Or, I don't know, made some sort of notes, but I just kind of turned the camera on. I wanted to talk about this, and I don't know, I guess maybe it's better that I just kind of speak from the heart. But hey, if you've listened this far, then thank you. And just please promise me that you will make the most of your time on this earth. Find your purpose. Don't waste your life. Rest in peace, Jay.